There's a huge business story here. You guys are just talking about Lego, and I'm a really smart person, so I realize if you take the G out of Lego and put in an N, you've got Leno. Lego is crushing it. The thing is, Leno is still crushing it. He's been averaging over the last year more than 3.5 million viewers. None of the other late night shows come close to that. So you're right. The show goes back to New York and goes to Fallon. I think the reason for them to do it right now is they've got the Olympics coming up. So NBC has this great big platform. Maybe in the early part of the game, they can show some great numbers for Fallon and say, see, this is the right move for us to make. But there's still a few months left on Leno's contract, so there is this awkward period that's happening right now. And, you know, that does show up a little bit in the Leno monologues in these last few shows.
Can you help us understand who exactly is Jay Leno's audience right now? When I think about what we watch, at least here, I see Jimmy Fallon all the time, never on live TV. I come in the morning. He's got great skits. We watch it on YouTube. Who's tuning in to Jay Leno late night? Who's that audience?
It's my father-in-law, Stan, Steph.
Hey,
Stan. That is who was watching Leno. You know, and I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to watch Fallon. And you're absolutely right. I mean, what Jimmy Fallon has is this ability to be part of the social conversation, to have video views that are great, and maybe that generates some advertising for them. But, I mean, you're talking about a franchise that, as of a couple of years ago, was, I think, bringing in close to $150 million a year in advertising revenue. And so the NBC brass really has to make sure that those advertisers are comfortable with this transition. I think one of the ways they've been positioning it is to say, look, the younger audience is the one that we do covet ultimately, and if we make this transition now, maybe it will be a better way to go. But, you know, that is a fair question. The average viewer for Leno is, you know, around 58, same for Letterman.
Well, but the average viewer for Fallon today is 52-something. It's really not that much younger.
Yeah,
which,
well,
quite honestly,
you know,
John, surprised me.
Well, you know, and I think that's just, you know, to what Steph was saying, like, do people want to tune in at that hour specifically for something like that, or do they want to watch reruns of The Family Guy, which they can get on a network like Adult Swim, which, you know, there's a piece in the New York Times this week about the ratings that channel's able to get late at night, and they're grabbing a lot of those 20-year-olds. Now, I think, you know, the way that you measure the success of a show has changed because a lot of people can record programs as well. And I think NBC is hoping that, you know, as you measure a show over, say, a 7-day stretch, how many people watch it later, and maybe because Fallon does a lot more skits that aren't necessarily tied to, you know, the news of the day and how it was discussed in a monologue, but people wanting to see what Jimmy Fallon did with JT or some other celebrity and the fun dancing they did, maybe that's where they'll have an...
How does NBC get paid for that or monitor that? As I said, I watch Jimmy Fallon all the time, and I never watch him on TV. I watch videos online. How does NBC capture that?
They're still figuring it out. I mean, you know, if they're going to post those videos, I mean, beyond YouTube, if they're going to post those videos on their own site, that is a new source of advertising revenue for them beyond what they're going to get if you're watching TV, you know, the broadcast right there. I think that there is obviously going to be sort of an advertising opportunity for people who are watching recorded programming, but that's still very early days.